Good morning, this is E.T. here, going to explain to you today about the meaning of life. Now many people, evolutionists and such people as Richard Dawkins say, and Stephen Jay Gould, who I greatly respect, they're brilliant academics, fantastic scholars and wonderful men. They know far more about evolution than I do. Nonetheless, I know enough about evolution to understand what the meaning of life is. What is the meaning of life? They say there is none. So that takes away the sort of reason for living in a way. So systems become nihilistic. The left, which lives in this theme and is creating a materialistic ideal for everyone. Everyone is equally materialistic. And everything's about the material and nothing about the spiritual or the soul, are totally misleading the population about what the meaning of life is. It's not about the material, as in what you can buy, how much wealth you have, or anything like that. The meaning of life is very specific, and it is to improve your genetic quality as you go through your generations. So you have one set of genes that are passed down and are cumulative of many other mixtures of chromosomes over the centuries, over the eons, all for the point in evolutionary terms, in a positive evolutionary terms, to improve your genetic outcome. That is done by trial and competition in the classroom, in life. We are steeled or made harder or better by challenges of life. The left wants to remove the idea of challenge. It wants everyone to be compliant. Therefore, there is no actual meaning of life apart from doing what the collective has to do, directed by some superior authority, and that's what the left is about, and the right. There is no difference in actual psychology and pathology between the left and the right. Everyone makes the mistake and thinks the far left and far right are different. No, they're one and the same pathology, but different versions based on emotional concept or ideology. Either one misses the point. They try to force people into being something they would not normally or naturally be. All men, in their own mind, equal to all men. This is a great cause of disquiet in the world. Men are subjugated to other men, who then subjugate women. This is coercion and causes psychological pressure and negative emotional outcomes. The meaning of life is how you bring your children up, how you really think about bringing your children up, how you educate them. If the education system is not educating them, you must educate them. You must give them the neurological ability to see how they go through life and solve the problems themselves without authorities solving the problems for them. Smart people will bring their kids up with reasonable discipline, put them to bed properly, take away those computers, feed them properly, make sure they can read before they go to school, and make sure they do the times table so they build the timetable. Is very, very important to develop the neurological potential, to expand cognitive potential, so you can solve problems later in life. And you can see things more clearly, because it creates a pathway then to experiential knowledge, which is very important. It's no good saying, look how successful we are as a society by the measure of the wealth we have, if our children are degenerating through fat food, diabetes, poor education. Well, regardless how hard people work for those children, they're wasting their efforts, and they're wasting all that investment of time and energy and labour and capital if the outcome is a weaker generation of children, which we are seeing now, who cannot compete against other nations, or still competing in the old-fashioned sense of the word. In other words, the West is being defeated by the left, who's infiltrated the education system 3 decades ago to degenerate the system through creating emotionally negative people, generations who act emotionally and do not have the knowledge to see the difference between fact and fiction, and they're fed an awful lot of fiction about an awful lot of things. And it's a crying shame that the media does not explain these things simply to people so they can understand and get out of this prison that the left are creating for people. The meaning of life is that you bring your children up so they have a better start, not materially, but physically and mentally. How they turn out materially, look at my kids rich. If they have children that are deformed or disabled or in some way malfunctioning, then their genetic failure is there. If on the other hand, it doesn't matter how rich you are, but your children or your grandchildren are healthy, vibrant children, that's the very essence of success. It's a 3 sequential generations of change that people adapt to over eons of time. The change in the last 3 decades, interchanging generations, grandparents to parents to children, has been a degenerative one. And because it's a degenerative one, now you've got all these children, or 20-year-old or 25-year-old, are like infants at university crying because someone disagreed with them. What is their life? What is the meaning of their life? They've lost the thread. They've had it taken out of them. They've had to steal what would have made them humans who were able to compete with other humans, removed from them by this insidious force called the left, who's nihilistic and creating a nihilistic society, all based on the selfishness of the one. And yes, we have to be selfish to succeed, but this is selfishness amongst a group, not amongst an individual. Now, I have to make this video short, but from now on, I'm going to try and explain the meaning of life further, because I think it's a very important subject to prevent this left destroying the West and humanity itself for nefarious purposes, to weaken the genome, to weaken the desire for living itself, creating massive divisions between what is traditional, disconnecting it by breaking the knowledge, and destroying the meaning of life itself by making it purely about the momentary material gain to the individual within the collective. The meaning of life is how your children are physically and mentally, and how vibrant they are, regardless how rich or poor they are. That's the important thing. You can be as rich as you like, but if your children turn out weak and cannot pass on strong genes, that is not a successful outcome. That is the meaning of life. Thank you. This is E.T. bringing you the actualities of life. Thank you. Bye-bye.